They sold you a clean story. AI makes things smarter. Smarter means cheaper. Cheaper means better for everyone. That is the pitch. And like most good pitches, it hides the invoice. To be fair, AI really can cut costs in some places. The IA says AI can help power systems forecast better, reduce outage duration, and unlock more capacity from the grid. In other words, some parts of the system really can get more efficient. But that does not mean life gets cheaper for you. It often means the bill moved. That is the real trick. AI does not always erase costs. Sometimes it relocates them, from labor to power, from the shelf price to the pricing engine, from the workflow to you. Our monthly bill. Start with electricity. The IEA says data centers used about 415 terawatt-hours of electricity in 2024 and could climb to around 945 by 2030. The United States alone accounted for about 45% of global data center electricity use in 2024. The DOE says data centers were already using about 4.4% of total U.S. electricity in 2023 and could rise to roughly 6.7% to 12% by 2028. That is not some tiny side effect. That is a giant cost looking for somewhere to land. So when people say AI will make life cheaper, ask one question. Cheaper for whom? Because the model may get cheaper per task, while the system around it gets more expensive to build, cool, power, and connect. The interface feels cheap. The infrastructure does not. And this is where the story turns against you. While you're learning prompts and saving a few minutes, bigger firms are building the pipes. While you're excited that intelligence got cheaper, they are buying the grid, the compute, the distribution, and the pricing leverage. That is the part people miss. You're not just using a tool. You're standing ins at somebody else's toll road. Then comes pricing. This is where the bill stops moving through the grid and starts moving through the market. The San Francisco Fed finds that AI pricing adoption has increased more than tenfold since 2010. Larger and more productive firms are more likely to adopt it. And firms that adopted AI pricing saw faster growth in sales, assets, employment, and markups. Markups, not just efficiency, not just convenience. Markups. That matters because smarter pricing is not the same thing as lower pricing. Sometimes it means the seller gets better at finding the exact number you will tolerate. The FTC says companies can use details like your precise location, browser history, shopping behavior, and even mouse movements to help tailor prices and promotions. Same product. Different price. Same demand. Better extraction. So the promise sounds like this. AI cuts costs. The lived reality feels like this. Your utility bill rises, the seller prices you more precisely, and the firms with scale capture the spread. That is why the message feels less optimistic and the experience feels predatory. And the gains do not land evenly. The firms best positioned to benefit are usually the ones that already have scale, data, compute access, and distribution. The Fed paper says larger and more productive firms are more likely to adopt AI pricing in the first place. The IEA says U.S. data center capacity is highly concentrated in a small number of major hubs. So even when AI creates real efficiency, the power to turn that efficiency into margin is not evenly distributed. That is why I do not buy the lazy line that AI is just deflationary. Some parts are. Some parts are not. Some parts cut costs. Some parts shift costs. And some parts raise the ceiling for price discrimination, infrastructure bottlenecks, and market power. If you only look at the chatbot, you miss the power PL. And if you only look at the app, you miss the pricing engine. So here's the real frame. AI may make intelligence cheaper. It does not automatically make life cheaper. It can make decisions faster, pricing tighter, infrastructure heavier, and competition harsher. That is not a contradiction. That is what happens when efficiency lands inside an unequal system. And this is the part that matters for people like us. If the bill is moving, then survival means following it. Watch electricity. Watch pricing power. Watch who owns the customer relationship. Watch who can bundle AI into systems you cannot easily leave. because that is where the savings stop being your savings and start becoming somebody else's margin. This is the bill map. One bill moves to the grid. One bill moves to the checkout page. One bill moves to smaller firms that have to integrate tools they do not control. And one bill never disappears at all. It just comes back as profit for somebody else. So before you repeat the line that AI will make everything cheaper, stop and ask the only question that matters. Where did the bill go? Did it disappear? Or did it just move out of SIG? HT into your power bill, your prices, your subscriptions, and somebody else's markup. If AI is making the system smarter, why does the invoice still keep finding you?